Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new Blitz News update for LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. I am very sorry that this video is coming out quite late. I planned to have this video out 2 days ago, but I'm really sorry. Other things got in the way, such as the April Fool's joke and such. So hopefully you guys are okay with it. Hopefully you guys will find the video informative and useful in terms of the information that we'll be discussing, because there certainly is plenty of things to discuss for this game. The trailer that we saw for the game just about a week ago at this point, but essentially the trailer showcased some interesting things. They talked about some new gameplay components, and I did a reaction to the trailer, but then I waited for a few days because usually whenever they release a trailer of this type, there's usually a couple of interviews that follow it up and some things that is discussed in terms of, hey, this is kind of what the game is going to be about. And this was no different. We found out quite a few things, including these new forms of gameplay. Now, what were these things? They kind of really touched on three main things overall, which were the blaster battles, the multi-builds, and the flight gameplay. So the flight gameplay is essentially just flight gameplay of iconic vehicles, whether it be the Millennium Falcon or the TIE Fighters, and basically battling against one another, almost in like dogfights or something like that in space. It's kind of like a shoot 'em up type component to a certain extent, but I think it looks great. I think it looks really fun, and I hope that they have multiple sections of this type of combat, especially in the extra levels that they will be doing apart from the main levels that they will be tackling. Now, after that, they also discussed the multi-builds. Now, the multi-builds is the one thing that kind of grabbed my attention the most, because it seemed to be the most thing that's somewhat, in a certain extent, the most convoluted, but not maybe convoluted is the wrong word really for this. Maybe the most just kind of puzzling component, no pun intended, even though this is obviously a solution program in which you're going to be using different types of builds, multiple builds, which is why it's called a multi-build system, but you're going to be using different types of builds to solve puzzles. Now, this sounds really intriguing because it makes it really exciting for replayability. So like if you play through the game over and over again and you keep choosing different combinations of these puzzles, will there be new things that are unlocked, whether it be maybe just like a joke by the character or a line of dialogue or just something that to acknowledge the fact that, hey, you used a different system of building this time around. So this sounds really exciting, especially because we don't necessarily know how many of these multi-builds there will be for each and every single thing. So I'm really excited about that, because it could be like 5 different builds for every puzzle or most puzzles or something, with different jokes and quips for the characters to throw at you. So that sounds really exciting and quite cool indeed. Then we moved on to the blaster battles. Now, the blaster battles looked really fun. Essentially, they are trying to recreate those super duper epic, intense fights that you would have and see on the screen within the Star Wars films, whether it be even maybe not even the films. It could also be within the Clone Wars series or the Rebels show, where they have those crazy firefights where you have the First Order firing away at the Resistance or the Rebels, and then they would come up and fire back and so on and so forth. So this is essentially what this is trying to recreate. It's going to allow you to take cover in order to dodge fire, and then the enemy exposes themselves, making themselves vulnerable for you to strike, so you would peek out from the cover and try to get your shots off so that you are victorious in that position. So that sounds fun. Again, I'm really glad that they're trying new things and adding things to the games, because I think that that's something that is super duper necessary. A lot of people still consider LEGO games all to be the same, but I love the differences between, for example, something like LEGO The Hobbit and LEGO Marvel's Avengers. It is substantially different in terms of a lot of the gameplay mechanics, but I also really liked the idea in the LEGO Hobbit games where we would collect things, like we would collect like, hey, you need to collect this much iron ore, and you need to collect this much carrots and this much fish and bread and so on and so forth, and then you would trade them in for either mithril contracts or unlockables, or just completing a mission in order to earn a gold brick. And I always thought that that was such a cool idea. So I'm really glad that with this game, they're adding a similar type of thing where they're like, hey, this is Star Wars, so let's come up with things, and more importantly, gameplay mechanics that would fit this world, and more importantly, enhance your experience playing through it. So that sounds really exciting and quite cool, and I'm super duper psyched to find out just how intense and how in-depth will this whole thing get. So hopefully, that will be the case. Now, another thing that I was asked about several different times on the last video, because I guess many people didn't notice the actual like logo at the end of the screen there, was the fact that, hey, is this game only coming out for PS4 and PS3 because there's a lot of Sony exclusive stuff going on with this game? No, the game is going to be available for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, the Vita, the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, the Wii U, and PC. So there's gonna be a way for you to play this game. Actually, did they confirm a 3DS version? I don't think they did, so that's kind of interesting if there is no 3DS. I think there is a 3DS system. Yeah, there is. I'm almost on. Let me remember. I'm like 99.9% sure that there is a 3DS version as well. So there is basically any system that you own, this game will be available on it. So keep that in mind. Now, there is sometimes obviously differences between the games that we see on, like, let's say the Xbox One and the PS4 and the way that the game looks on something like the 3DS. So keep that in mind. Usually the mobile or the handheld games are somewhat different, sometimes substantially different to the other games. So keep that in mind. Now, the other cool component was the fact that they did announce that or confirm, I guess, the fact that there are going to be over 200 characters in this game. They said 200 plus. Now that is crazy, because honestly, when they said that, hey, this is going to be a game that's focused on The Force Awakens, I mean, it's called Lego The Force Awakens, I thought to myself, well, how many characters could they possibly mine from The Force Awakens? I mean, I have the art book for The Force Awakens, and I thought to myself, okay, well, let's say maximum they could do like 100 characters, you know, with variations. Like they could do old Han Solo, young Han Solo, I don't know, some winter coat Han Solo. So like even with that, I thought to myself, there is no way they could get over 100 characters in this game. Well, the cool thing is that they are going to include characters from the previous Star Wars films as well. So that will be added through the actual game. And from what I understand, also possible DLC. So that sounds really, really exciting. So that should be really super duper cool, because that means we're gonna have a huge roster of characters. I mean, we had 196 characters in the Lego Marvel's Avengers. That's like the core characters. There's well over 200 after the DLC and such, but it just makes me super excited to just think the vast, crazy character roster that we're going to get in this game is going to be insane. And think about the quality of the actual models for this game. That sounds super exciting. Now, that's actually something that they did touch upon, and they said that this is going to be the best looking game that they've ever done in terms of just visually. The details for the game is going to be incredible, and that sounds really, really cool and exciting, because I personally have noticed an improvement overall in many Lego games over the last little while. I've noticed that the models keep getting better in terms of the way that they look. The character models get better. They have like a more nice sheen to them, and they look a lot more high resolution and such. So I'm really, really excited about that. But then they talked about the fact that there's going to be a lot of accuracy in terms of the way that the environments look. Like the environments are going to be really well done, and I'm really, really super duper excited about that, because hopefully that will be quite fun to explore. Now, the final thing that was really exciting when I heard this, I was like super duper stoked, is the fact that they actually confirmed that there will be actual talent coming in and doing voiceovers for the game. So if you're a person that didn't like, for example, in the Marvel's Avengers game, where they basically just take the clips from the, well, for the most part, there's definitely lots and lots of voiceovers that are done by talented voiceover artists and such, but for the most part, they take, for the story mode side of things, they just take clips from the film, take that audio, and then they would utilize it in the game. So that's definitely something that has happened before, and there's lots of people that don't like that. Lots of people say that that's something that takes them out of the experience and so on and so forth. Well, that won't be a problem with this game, because they have the talent coming in and doing a bunch of voiceover for this game. So that sounds exciting, because it really also makes you think like now they could really finagle the story to their fitting, and they could really probably get away with a lot more creativity, because they can say, hey, John Boyega, can you do this funny line and this funny line and this funny line? And I think that that's so exciting, because I think that that's going to be so very cool overall. I think they confirmed like that basically all of the major talent is going to be coming in to record new lines for the game. So again, that's that's super exciting because I think that adds depth to the side quests and the story levels. So with that in mind, guys, there you have it. That wraps up the entire news update for LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. Lots and lots of information was confirmed through these series of interviews that were completed by different members of the TT Games team, and I am so excited for this game now. I cannot genuinely describe how pumped I am, because I'm just thinking to myself, like, we saw in LEGO Marvel's Avengers characters like Devil Dinosaur, and we saw Fing Fang Foom, huge scale characters. So what is possible as playable characters in LEGO The Force Awakens? Maybe it's not even in the core game, but over time, imagine the possibilities that they could do. Imagine a Jabba the Hutt that is actually to scale to the characters. Imagine just the things they could do with like Rancors, and like, it's gonna be insane. I hope that they get super duper creative with it, because I think the possibilities are gonna be just almost endless. As always, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please don't forget to drop a like. That would be highly appreciated. I will catch all of you lovely, lovely folks next time. Peace out. See you laters, alligators. Bye-bye, everyone.